And we're live on the app. Hi, everybody on Facebook. Good to see you. Going to have a fun show for you tonight. Let me go ahead and get the show started. All right, welcome to this week's edition of Turkey Talk Radio with Outdoors Dan, brought to you by the fine folks at Rupert's Roost and Peace Turkey Calls, Flex, Game Hide, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Atasca Hunting Boots, and of course, uh, Gearhead Archery. I'm losing my mind. We got a fun show for you tonight. We're going to have our buddy Phillip Vanderpool on. Phillip has got a couple shows, Legends of the Fall and the Virtue TV. And, he's been chasing longbeards longer than I've been alive. So we're going to have a little fun show tonight for you on there as well. Phillip, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, buddy, just hanging in there like a hair on a lollipop.
Are you like a what?
Hair on a lollipop.
Hair on a lollipop. You finer than frog hair? Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
There you go.
Hair in a biscuit.
Man, can you believe we're going to be at Donovan's in 4 weeks?
That's crazy, man. It's time flies by as you get older, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you would have been up to the Iowa Deer Classic. Had folks asking for you, and Larry and Ryan and Paul and I had a great time. Todd, Rupert, and everybody was next door. We were in between the outdoor call radio booth, and had folks asking where you were, and I told them you were on assignment, secret assignment.
Yeah, I was. I had a granddaughter that had a birthday this last weekend, and I spent time with the girls out there taking pictures and stuff. We took the CVA shotgun, little 410 Scout, and went out and took some photos and stuff sitting against the tree and stuff. Especially my youngest granddaughter, she just turned 5, and man, I tell you what, she's ready to go turkey hunting.
Yeah, I could imagine. Hey, Cheyenne, good to see you. Hank on a Revelton, good to see you too. Thank you, Hank. And Nick over on the East Coast, thanks, Nick. We appreciate you very much. Thanks, everybody. Well, Donovan left for Argentina, so he's on his way to chase stags, and then when he gets back, we're going after longbeards down there. Um, I tell you, it just seems like we just got through deer hunting, Phillip.
I'll tell you, and it's funny. I still kind of got deer on the brain, if you will, but it's starting to come around. The boys, the Woodhaven boys, just had a great hunt down in South Florida. They've been down there last couple of days wearing them out, Mike in the gang.
Yeah, and your buddy Steve Stoltz he swept the board at the Iowa Deer Classic. I'm sure Steve told you about that at least 5 times by now.
Oh, you don't think so, do you? No, old Steve. Hey man, my hat's off to him. He's been in the calling side of the turkey, hunting and stuff, and on the calling side for many, many years, and he's won a lot of contests. That boy's good.
Steve's got more talent in his pinky than I do for calling ability. I'll always give Stoltz credit for that. Hey, Wolf Paw Archery, good to see you. Thanks for watching tonight. Appreciate that. I thought we'd talk a little bit about toms and how to read their temperatures, Phillip, because there's so many different nuances that goes into turkey hunting. And you and I have known we've been buddies for a long, long time. And I had my struggles early on, and there's times I still struggle from time to time. That's hunting. But the thing I think that taught me a lesson, or was the hardest for me to learn, was when to call, when not to call, and how to call. Reading that bird's temperature. I mean, don't you think that's really an important nuance?
Well, obviously, I mean, anytime, of course, in the business we're in, Dan, with, trying to get them on video, we're trying to look for Hollywood,
Yeah.
obviously. And so most of the time we're trying to take their temperatures, and I love calling turkeys. I mean, I understand tiptoeing around sometimes, not calling very much and laying off the calling. But the thing with me, Dan, anybody that hunts with me knows that I'm going to get after them on the calls, because that's what I love about it. I love to hear them gobble. I love to hear them spit and drum, and I'm trying to fire him up some way, somehow. And that's where you learn to use different calls to try to find out exactly what he's listening for.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Naked Buckhead, good to see you. Mountain Man, good to see you. Hoyt Hunter, good to see you. Hoyt said to tell you hi, Philip. AJ, how you doing, AJ? Shawley, good to see you too. So, and it's amazing how they can just be, you get out there in the morning, you got them roosted, you start hearing those first tree calls, and them hens start waking up, and then you start hearing that gobbler, and you're sitting there going, well, this is going to be easy, and then they fly down and they're gone. I think we've all been down that saddle before, but they could just be just gobbling and gobbling and gobbling, and then next thing you know, you don't hear anything, and then here they come around the blind. They came in cold on you.
Oh yeah, you have that happen a lot. And Dan, in all honesty, if it wasn't for getting up really early and hearing Mother Nature coming to life, the hoot owls, the crows coming to life, the cardinals, and everything that we enjoy with a turkey hunt, I probably wouldn't even get out there and try to listen for them in the mornings, because I've always said, let them get done with their ritual right off the bat, off the roost, and then, because most of the time the success is from about 9 o'clock on, if
Yeah,
you think about
yeah.
it, you know.
Well, I can probably count on one hand where I got them right off the roost with a bow.
It's happened to me several times, but it's because I probably got in that bubble, got right in there really tight on them, got in there way before daylight, and obviously you want to get in between where they're at and where they want to go. That's 90% of it, my friend. You and I both
Yeah,
know that, been there and done that.
yeah. Well, I have to do that a lot because I'm an average caller. You can talk to them. Hey, Scotty Mueller in Oklahoma. Todd Rupert, how you doing, you sexy beast? AJ, good to see
Todd.
you. Yeah, oh, Todd, he's something else, isn't he?
Yes, he
Uh,
is. Tell him hi.
yeah, he hears you. Hoyt, nothing like it, but the Coyotes have them quite most of the time pretty early in Virginia. Sorry to hear that, Hoyt. They're down. Philip, let's just talk about temperatures for a minute. The birds are down. They're doing their thing in the morning. They're breeding. You got the satellite toms.
Yeah.
They're out there. And, you call and they gobble, and then you call, they don't gobble. What do you do in that kind of circumstance when they're not answering you every time, or is that a good thing?
Well, you know, I try to find that. Of course, I'm very blessed to be able to use, whether it be a mouth call, box, slate call. I'm going to have my arsenal with me. And what I usually do, I'll sit there a little bit and I'll just change up calls to try to find out just exactly what that sexy talk is he's looking for. I'm trying to be the most sexy sounding hen out there. I want to put a little pizzazz in my call. I don't want to just, be real, I don't know, average. I want to be
Hot.
something special to him.
Yeah,
Exactly. I want him to tell him I love him and to come right on over here and see me.
yeah.
So I'm working different calls is one of my formulas to do that.
So someone is just starting out their first couple seasons, Philip. You're listening, trying to hear if they're responding,
Yeah.
if you're that sexy hen and not. What is more important, hearing their tone and excitement and when they answer you, or seeing how they react if you can see them? What's more important?
Well, I don't know. Both of them are pretty important.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, if you can see them and see what they're doing, then you can kind of know when to call and see how they're reacting. A lot of times they may not gobble, but he may go into a full strut and
right,
spit and drum, and you're not hearing or seeing that.
right.
So that's something to do. And I'll tell you another thing, Dan. You and I both know this because we bow hunt turkeys a lot. The main thing is a lot of times is to have patience. Just because that first 2 or 3 hours they may not show up, but don't think they don't know where that call originally came from. And when they're done with their hens, a lot of times you're going to have them show up in midday if
Yeah,
you've got the patience to stay after it.
yeah, yeah. AJ, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that again. Jerry Hall, how you doing? Good to see you. Chuck, good to see you. What's going on, old sad daddy Vanderpool? Chuck Knudsen. Knudsen? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good to
Chuck.
see. Yeah. 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 All your buddies are on here. Here's the thing that I learned that really helped me was when they shut up. A lot of times when they fly down and shut up, they haven't left. I think a lot of people, when they don't hear that
Yeah,
response, they think they fed off or whatever. A lot of times, if he's got hens with him, he doesn't have to gobble. He gobbles to
that's
get
no,
hens to come to him, right?
exactly. You're reversing nature when you call them up.
Right.
Actually, in a way. Yep.
And I, you and I, we've already said this a couple of times already. That 10 to 2 time, if you can hunt, if you can spend as much time out there as you can, when most people are disgusted or frustrated or cold or they got to get to work, when they're heading back to the truck, when some of the best hunting is coming in.
Yeah, and I think turkeys have evolved around that, over the years and kind of learned that a little bit as well. Especially if you're hunting public land or where there's more pressure on the turkeys.
Yeah.
But hey, don't be afraid to call to a turkey. I mean, if you make a mistake, cover it up and just go right back in and try to keep the right rhythm and be sexy to that old gobbler. Put a little bit of personality in the call.
Yeah. Skippy Peterson from Gearhead says, Philip talking sexy turkey cadence.
All right, there's old Skip. Hey, buddy, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
He's a good.
Tone and
He's been
Cadence.
there, done
Yeah,
that. Huh?
Skippy's a good hunter. Tone and cadence does have a lot to do with your calling success. Because I know for years I was
Absolutely.
calling way too loud and too often.
Yeah. And I just like I say, I think every situation's different. The Rios and the Merriams are going to be more vocal overall than say the Easterns most of the time. You can call a lot to them, especially the Merriams. I don't think you can call too much. Now there's certain situations, and we all run into that, but that's just the experience being out there. But I'm out there to call up the turkeys. I want to know that I call that turkey up. I'm not a bushwhacker, and I get it. If the guys only have a certain amount of time to hunt, but the enjoyment I get on turkey hunting or out of turkey hunting is calling them up and knowing that I had something to do with that.
Yeah, Chuck says he's listening, watching. NBH wants to know: do you think the crazy weather this year will have an effect on turkeys this year?
I think they're going to get started early. I'm already seeing, turkeys are strutting with the hens and everything else. And I'll tell you right now, like down in South Florida, them boys, I mean, 7 gobblers in a day and a half, and they're done. So turkeys are really responding right now to the calls. Of course, they start earlier down there. We know that, and then work their way. But yeah, it probably will. But keep in mind, we ain't done with cold weather yet. You know how
Yeah.
it always is. It's
Well,
gonna
and
it's gonna hurt us here because everything's bloomed out. I mean,
yeah,
it's
and
crazy.
those hens are only going to be receptive to those toms when they know
Yep.
that the eggs are going to be viable. Yeah, so if
Yep.
it's snow on the ground or if it's 15 degrees, they're going to be pushing those toms off. Uh-oh, Steve Scarzelli says, just saying hi, boys. Always loving hearing what Philip has to say. Don't tell him that, Scars.
Hey Steve. Hey man, good to hear from you, brother.
Yeah, he's good stuff, that Scarzelli, isn't he?
For sure. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
all them boys up there. Johnny
You bet.
Lobster, the Godfather Ralph, all them boys in New York. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
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 So let's see, 513 and some change. Show's brought to you today by our good friends out at Rupert's Roost and Peace Turkey Calls. If you ever get around Todd Rupert, ask him how that name came about. Gearhead Archery, Flex Fletch. I know you are a solid believer in Silent Night veins, Philip Vanderpool.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you right now, they're the best I've ever used, and there's so many good things about them. They're the quietest that
Yeah.
and fly the best for me. No
You
problem.
know, who was asking about the warmer weather? That was NBH. One thing that we need to worry about too now with this warmer weather, if it does stay warm, is ticks. Ticks are going to be out big time early. And you and I are also a big partner with Game Hides and Limitic. You got to wear a Limitic, folks. You cannot go out there without being protected with ticks anymore. There's too many things out there besides Lyme disease, alpha gallus syndrome. I know several people that have got that, and I would hate to have you go through life and not being able to eat some deer meat or some protein, right, Philip?
I'll tell you, when you're talking about a limit tick, it's amazing. I
Yeah.
don't know how else to say it, and I don't want to wear anything else in the springtime when those ticks and chiggers are out because you're going to get them.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean, if you're not wearing it, and it's amazing how it keeps the ticks and chiggers off.
yeah.
You can ask old Donovan about that.
Yeah, we made a believer and Larry Ryan and everybody too. Hey, so early season, I just got my I just took some fan lock and I made a new fan for my DSD strutter, Phil.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm going to start off with my Jake strutter, and then I'm going to use that preening hen, and I'm going to use a feeding hen, and I might use an alert hen, but I like that Jake strutter with 3 hens. That's my normal first setup. Now, as if they're going to be a little farther along, if those toms are going to be fighting, if they're going to be more aggressive because they're competing for hens more than or faster than normal, I might go to that breeding pair. What do you think?
That's a good thing to do. It works very well. I tell you, it's just hard to beat that old 3/4 Jake,
Yeah,
in my opinion. And I set up a lot of times. I'll take this standing hen and put the standing hen under him and put him in a breeder position too. That works very, very well. Of course, the strutter. Gosh, it's money. The Jake strutter is definitely money.
yeah. Larry did something last year. Did you catch what he was doing with that preening hen? He actually took a real feather and glued it to where she had her head tucked under, where she was preening herself, and he had that feather kicking up with the wind. Did you see that?
With a little bit of wind, yeah.
Yeah,
And I've always said if you can do something like that and get a little bit of movement in it, it's definitely going to add to it, the realism. The turkeys it'll attract them, as long as it don't move too much, too fast.
yeah,
That's one thing you don't. The decoy spinning around in the wind, it can spook them if it's spinning too fast.
absolutely. Hey, Tony Casey, good to see you. Yeah, well, and I like, you and Larry and Ryan like to. You guys are shooting birds at 5, 6 yards. I like to get them out to 10. I want a little distance, so I can. I'm self filming most of the time. So are you a lot, but I think that decoy positioning. If you can keep one tuck close to the blind and keep that Jake, they're going to go to that Jake most of the time. The only time you have a situation is when you get that hand that the Tom is with. If you call her over, I mean, how
Oh
many
yeah.
times have you seen her? She goes right to your hand. 'Cause
Oh yeah.
she
Yeah.
wants.
Jump
She's
right
not
on.
happy with that. She's not happy with that other hen. You know,
She's jealous.
she's jealous.
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
that happen several times too. But just keep that in mind when you're setting up your decoy spreads.
Yeah, but you're right. 9 times out of 10 times, the gobblers will go to the Jake decoy.
Yeah,
It's just Mother Nature. A lot of times they'll piddle around with them. Just enough. You give it a little bit of time. The one thing I say, guys, when you're using decoys, if you can, have a little bit of patience because when they first come in, they're very excited and they're jumping all over the decoys and moving around quite a bit, and it's hard to get that shot. But if you'll just settle down and have a little patience, normally you'll get that opportunity there, and you get a good show out of it as well.
yeah. What early morning? I know you're throwing your whole arsenal out there. Early morning, what kind of cadence are you doing? Are you doing wake up calls with them on the roost, or you wait until they pitch out? What's your normal routine in the mornings, Phil?
To be honest with you, that's a big discussion with a lot of people, and I think you just have to go with what's been your go-to over the years. But for me personally, I want to be the first, if I can. I want to be the first hen that gobbler hears, and a lot of it depends on how far away they are from you when you're calling. Right, especially right off the bat. But I want to be there again. I want to let him know right where I'm at. He may not come to me right off the bat. He may come to another hen first, but he's always going to remember, I think, where that first hen called from. I think it's something to think about, especially if you're in the area where you think the turkeys are going to show up. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Hi,
and I
Parker
agree.
Miller. I'm waving at Parker Miller. He said hi.
Oh,
Say
you're
hi.
waving.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, Parker.
Aaron DeMay said to tell you hi, Phil. Hi, Aaron.
Hey, hey, buddy.
Yeah, good to see everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see, Parker, and then tree calls, Kiki run. Um, I don't know about you, but I like when I hear that hen, I try to sound just like what she sounds like. That lead hen.
Try to mimic what she's doing, but sound a
Yeah,
little bit sexy. Put a little bit more
And
pizzazz.
when she gets mad and starts cutting me off, I know she's heading my way.
That's right. If
You
you
know?
call that boss hen up, he gonna fall. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it.
Yeah, I just have a lot of respect for a lady that brings her boy with her. You know, it just makes my life easier in
Oh,
the woods. You know, so now,
yeah.
hey, what about cutting? I mean, if she's out there and she's cutting at you, I mean, if do you cut her off when you do you cut back at her and cut her off?
Yeah, I just try to get right, right back at her. I mean, as soon as she starts doing it, of course, I like to listen to it there for a little bit, but then I'm going to start hitting her right back. And that usually fires them right back up. I mean,
Yeah,
the hens, if you get one that'll cut back at you real hard, usually you're going to get to see them.
yeah. Dirk Stark said hi, Philly. P. Vitty.
Hey, Dirk. Hey,
Dirk
buddy.
Stark. Silent Nights, a manufacturer extraordinaire.
Oh, I guarantee you.
Yeah,
The best.
absolutely. Hey, Jake Pike, good to see you. I don't know, man. I got all my stuff ready to go. I just like I said, I think it became easier for me when I just started listening to the hens, listening to what they're doing, and
Hmm.
just try to emulate what they're doing. And if they're quiet, when that Tom shuts up and he's out there at 75 yards and he just sits there and struts back and forth. It's the hardest thing in the world when you can see that Tom doing that. But I put my calls down because he's
I
wanting
use,
to come to.
yeah, I agree.
I'm not saying you have to
You're
do that.
backing off. And I like the clucking and the purring. That's where I usually go to my soft stuff to try to coax him on in. I love the cluck and purr, especially on a friction call.
So
I do it
okay,
all
so
the
if
time.
he's out there, he's locked up at 75 yards, and you can see him, and he is not coming in. He sees your deeks, and he's trying to get that hen to come to him. And you think you just pluck and purr and try that?
I do. And I combine them with some whines, a little bit of whining, and going into that cluck and purring. Sometimes even a soft key into the yelp, if you will. It's that key yelp yelp. Just a little bit, just to kind of add a little realism. You're not going to hurt anything. Just don't get crazy with it and too loud. And I think what guys try to do, I call it the kooky coo, and they lose the rhythm most of the time. What I hear guys doing, they're with the
Yeah,
call there, and it's more the kooky coo, and it's not a true rhythm of a turkey. And
yeah. I
sometimes it'll work. I'm not going to say it don't, but there's probably more times it don't work.
see when I do the kooky coo. Ryan and Paul and Larry say I sound like a wounded seal.
Okay.
Hey, you've been there when they've said it, so I.
Hey, Dan,
Uh,
you can't believe what all we talk behind your back when
oh, I
when
believe
you're
all
right
of
there.
you.
What we said.
I believe all of you biscuit eaters say. No, I mean, just I can yelp and stuff, but I mean, and I get a little in there. But Philip, is some of the worst calls I've heard in my life are real hens. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
I'm not going to be afraid to call.
yeah. I just try to break up the rhythm, get that rhythm that they do and stuff there. But you're right. Put a little bit of personality. Don't be afraid to call to them. And if
Yeah.
you make a mistake, run right through it and just keep going. You ain't
Parker
gonna
wants
hurt
to know
nobody.
what Parker Miller wants to know what kind of choke you're running in that 410.
I'm using what it comes with is a Jeb's choke. And that little 410 Scout, we shot that. I used those ninja loads there that Woodhaven makes. And at 51 yards, shot it with the rangefinders. Rhonda and I were shooting them the other day. Put 28 pellets in the head and neck of a turkey at 51 yards.
Is that
It's unbelievable how they shoot.
with that TSS shot?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
that. It's Apex, the Apex Ninja loads that Woodhaven has made for them. Apex makes them, but
Yep.
they're incredible.
Yeah. Let's see. Rhonda says you are really good at whining. Dirk Stark says.
Yep, you're probably right. Always whining.
Yeah. So, all right, we got about 5 minutes here, Phil. So box call, everybody should have a box call in their pack. Don't you agree?
Well, here's the thing. It's just like your fishing lures, and that's the one thing I've learned. Try your best to learn how mouth calls are the hardest to learn, but if you can make a yelp and a cluck on it, and just some kind of a yelp, you'll be fine. But I would definitely have some kind of a friction call to where you can do the cluck and the purr, the soft stuff, if you can't do it with your mouth calls. But the box call, if you want to make a turkey gobble, that's usually as good as it gets as a good box call.
Well, it's just when places like Iowa and Illinois, Missouri, or Kansas, where it's super windy a lot. That box
Yeah,
call is going to carry farther in that wind.
absolutely. And and the thing is, the box call is the easiest call to learn for somebody.
Yeah,
I mean, you can just grab it and pretty much make a sound out of it. I've learned to run it. I do about everything on a box call that you can do with a mouth or a friction call. I just like a box call, especially when I'm trying to get his attention and get him fired up and coming to me. That's my go-to.
yeah. John Pageant says hi, John. Good to see you, John. You know John Pageant, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a fine feller, John. I haven't talked to him in a while. John, don't be such a stranger. Send me some turkeys pictures.
That's right,
Don't,
buddy.
don't forget about the armor all your decoys. Yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
There you go.
shine them up. You want that shine?
Shine them up, buddy.
Shine them up. I got to tell you, one of the things that I learned from you a long time ago, if you don't want to carry a ton of calls around with you, and I use mostly a friction call and a box call, is you don't have to carry a lot of different calls, but carry a lot of strikers with you because every striker is going to have a different pitch or tone to you, and it takes up a lot less weight in your vest, right?
Absolutely, and they, have you an acrylic striker in case you do get one dampened a little bit. Kind of what we call a rain checker type striker if it gets wet or something there, or a little moisture or something on there. But yeah, your wooden strikers are going to be your go-tos.
Yeah.
It's Purple Heart or a hickory or just whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you like.
Aaron and Nick DeMay said, my daughter, first time using Todd Rupert's box call, and it sounds great. Aaron,
Oh,
you should tell Todd he owes you money for that wonderful testimonial.
that's right.
Yeah, he can afford it. So I don't know, Phil, man. I'm looking forward to it. We're both. You're first off. I think I've had you on the show since that was announced last year. But congratulations on getting inducted into the Hunting Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very, very much. It was truly an honor, and very humbled to be, and now, now I'm actually partnered up with Gary doing the Legends of the Outdoors TV as well. So
Yeah,
it's all going well.
yeah, you're doing good. I'm proud of you. So, hey, real quickly, double read, single read, triple read. What do you recommend for someone on their first turkey season trying a mouth call?
I would probably go with a thin latex if can find the thin latex. I'd probably go with a double reed, just because you can get that two note sound that out a little better for the yelp. That yelp yelp. I think the two, but probably the thinner reed would be the easiest to blow. With the thinner latex. But
Yeah.
that's probably what it's a double, honestly.
Colin Johnson says, "Bring on spring turkey." Amen, Colin. We're with you on that one.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. We're with
yeah.
you.
See, Phillip and I are excited about turkey hunting in Kansas, and the hunting's really good with Donovan. I got my Triple H vest on wherever that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm all ready for that, but it's Connie's cooking that I'm really excited about.
Oh, me and you both. I was talking about that a couple nights ago. I was telling Rhonda, I still would
And
like to have some of that good fried chicken. Wouldn't you?
yeah, and my
Uh,
wife's a great cook. That's why I'm so fat. Jenny can cook. But I tell you that Connie's breakfast burritos at 4 in the morning. That just gets your tummy nice and warm to go sit in the blind and take a nap. I'm telling you,
yeah, that's right.
that's good. That's
Make
good.
sure you got your wet wipes, though, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Make sure you got your nature calls. That's good. Hey, what about I don't do this as much as I do. I got my trail cameras running seven days a week, and
Yeah,
I don't take them out a lot. I take some out during deer season, but my turkey spots I leave my cameras running all year, and so
yeah,
I don't go out and roost birds as much as I used to. I know where they're going in and out and roosting on the cameras. That scouting. If you don't have cameras out roosting, that is an important facet of to being set up in the right spot in the morning.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you what. If you got your trail cameras out, it can make a world of difference.
Yeah.
And I don't know right where to go, especially you seeing them in the afternoon. They're not going to be too far from there, most
Well, and you
likely.
want, yeah, roost trees and nesting cover, Philip. If you got that around food, you should be in the turkeys, right?
Right. That and you got to have water. But
Yeah.
yes, and normally they're going to be nesting pretty close to a water source.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
important. All right. Hey, real quick, folks, outdoor calendar. The Des Moines, Iowa Trout Unlimited chapter is going to have, that's the North Bear chapter. They got a big event coming up this weekend, March 9th. It's called 2024 Fly Fishing Film Tour. And it's going to be at the Varsity Cinema in Des Moines. It's going to help put more facilities in for trout and trout fishing in Iowa. If you want more information, go check that out. It's $16 to $22 a piece. That's going to be a nice. And they said the presentation's really really good. So go check that out, and you can look up the Trout Unlimited North Bear chapter on Facebook for more information there. And then I want to thank our friends at Knox County Whitetails. Of course, Philip, you all are familiar with that man.
Oh yeah, Chris Allison and his wife Annette. Oh yeah, yeah. You come as a client, and leave as a friend. They're good
Uh,
people.
Rob Warwick says getting advice from you two is like icing on the cake. Well, thanks, Mountain Man. That's awful nice of
Hey,
you.
appreciate it, brother. Yeah.
That's very
Hey,
kind
Rob.
of. Philip, did you know we're going to be doing a turkey calling, or not a turkey calling? We're going to do a turkey hunt contest. I'm going to have people send me a 30-second or a 60-second clip on a Tacticam of their hunt, and then we're gonna do a big draw at the end of the season. But the winner is going to get a 3-day hunt with Chris at Knox County Slim Whitetails. They're
Oh,
going
okay.
to get some prizes from. They're going to get a DSD turkey decoy, some Flex Fletch product, a Grizzly cooler, and a Tacticam reveal camera. How about that?
Well, that's quite a that's quite a little package there, brother.
Well, that hunt alone is 1,600
Oh,
bucks, isn't it?
oh yeah, and
And
then
Chris
you
has got
bet.
this. The hunt's going to be for 2025, so you hunt there all the time. Chris has got
Oh
some
yeah,
good spots.
yeah. He's got some great spots. Yeah, we're gonna have actually we're gonna have the Legends of the Outdoors there. We've got Jimmy Houston for sure going to be there. A few of the legends there, and then also all the Woodhaven crew. We'll
Okay.
do a turkey hunt there. Yep, you
Yep.
bet.
So I'll tell you more about that, folks, when we get closer to that. Phil, I knew this was going to go quick, man. Thanks so much for spending a half an hour with me on Turkey Talk Radio.
Hey, awesome. Anytime. I just want to say a special thank you to everybody for supporting the virtue and the legends of the outdoors. And also, man, everybody be safe and have fun out there this year. And wish everybody the best in turkey season because I ain't nothing like chasing those old sad daddy longbeards around.
Yeah, absolutely. And be safe out there. Hunter safety. Identify what you're shooting at. What's past that. We want to make sure
Absolutely.
everybody makes it back home to their loved ones. That's for sure, right, Phil?
That's exactly right, buddy.
All right.
Yep.
All right. That's
Remember to
good.
wish often and dream big, right?
Absolutely. That's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of Turkey Talk Radio, brought to you by the fine folks at Rupert's Roost and Peace Turkey Calls, Flex Fletch, Fourth Arrow Camera Arms, Game Hide, Gearhead Archery. We'll be on at 7 o'clock tonight for Unknown Files. We're going to be talking with Troy from American Hauntings over in Illinois. That's going to be fun. Also, don't forget to go get you a bag of Soldier Boy jerky. Nothing better in the blind than a bag of Soldier Boy. And they support the troops, veteran owned, and they care about our service people. Soldier Boy Jerky, check them out online. For Philip and I, we'll see you next time right here on Turkey Talk Radio.
Be safe. See you, partner.